Good morning and welcome to Cloud Cafe from 56-Bit. I'm Patrick Camilleri and today we are discussing the fascinating world of Amazon S3. Welcome back to the S3 Deep Dive series. In this episode, we'll discuss three powerful features. We'll discuss versioning, lifecycle policies, and cross-region replication. So buckle up as we explore the next level of S3. Alright, so let's start with versioning. S3 versioning is a very powerful feature. It allows you to write data without losing what you just replaced. So every time you upload anything to S3, you're uploading a whole file. You cannot upload part of a file, you need to always upload the full file. The old file that was replaced, if it has the same name, it will be replaced. But when you switch on S3 versioning, that file, the old one, will remain there and the new one will become the default. Should you want to go back to the older file or files, you can. S3 versioning allows you to make sure that you don't lose any changes or any data you might have mistakenly overwritten. So for example, should you want to upload a file and it has a change that you don't want, that file, you can always go back to the previous version and each one will be there for you to go back to. Now you have to be careful when it comes to cost, because every file that you upload with versioning switched on, the old versions remain there and you're paying for all those versions. So if you have a 1 GB file and you upload the same file with the same file name multiple times, let's say 5 times, then you have 5 versions and you're paying for 5 GB. To switch on versioning, it is very easy. You just go into the S3 console, go into the S3 bucket you want to switch on versioning for. You go to Properties, and there is the versioning part, and you just switch it on. You have to be careful as well when it comes to versioning, because versioning will only be switched on from the moment you switch it on onwards. So if you have 20 files on S3 with versioning switched off, those files will not have any previous versions. It will only apply from when you switch on versioning onwards. Once you switch it on, you cannot switch it off. You can only disable it, because the versions that have been saved will remain there once you switch it off, or rather disable it. And then you can always switch it back on at any point. Let's now move on to S3 Lifecycle Policies. Another powerful feature, very simple to use, is just a matter of going into the bucket and setting up one or more rules. These lifecycle policies or rules allow you to move data from one storage tier. We discussed storage tiers before. They allow you to have data stored in different ways with different availability and different cost optimizations. You can have a lot of data, some of it in one tier, others in a different tier. And in that same bucket, that policy allows you to move that data from one tier to another automatically, depending how long that data has been saved in S3. So let's say your application has data which is very frequently accessed as soon as it is uploaded. But after a few days, that data becomes a lot less frequently accessed, or rather infrequently accessed, after say 20 days. So what you do is switch on a lifecycle policy that says, after 20 days of uploading to S3, I want you to move from S3 standard to S3 infrequently accessed. As you might have heard in the first episode, that means you're going to pay a lot less with storage costs, but you pay a bit more when it comes to retrieving the data. Because your data is not frequently accessed, you're going to pay a lot less. So moving that data around does not have to be manual. It can be manual, but you can also do it depending on the time it is placed on S3, how long it's been on S3. And that's what lifecycle policies give you. Lifecycle policies also allow you to delete data which you don't need anymore, permanently delete them. So you can have a policy which moves data around based on how long it's been in S3 from one storage tier to another. But then, let's say after a year, you want to permanently delete that data. you can do that in the same rule or other rules, other lifecycle policies. And the beauty of it as well is that you can control the data that is live or the data that has been versioned. As we said, with versioning, you upload a file, and then if you upload again the same file, the older one will become a version. It will not be lost, but rather it will be hidden as a version. With lifecycle policies, you can control how those versions move around and get deleted separately from the live data. Let's move on to cross-region replication. Cross-region replication on S3, again, is very, very simple. You just go into a bucket, go into the Properties tab, switch on cross-region replication. And as the name implies, it allows you to replicate any data on S3 in one bucket to another bucket in a different region. When creating an S3 bucket, you are always choosing the region this data is saved in. The data will be saved in multiple physical locations in the same region whenever you are creating a bucket. Now with S3 cross-region replication, you're allowing that to move, to be copied, not moved, to be copied from one bucket to another in a different jurisdiction. So for example, you have a bucket in Ireland, all the data uploaded there will be copied to a different bucket in, say, the United States. Cross-region replication is really good to increase the level of availability and durability of your data. So if you lose the data in Ireland because the Ireland region is down or something happened there, even though the chances of that happening are very low, you still have that data in another region which you can access. It also allows you to move data closer to your users. So if your application is hosted in Ireland, then that application can access the data in Ireland on S3. On the other hand, if you have an application, the same application in the US, you can access that data in S3 from the US. So that ensures that you reduce the amount of time that it takes to get that data and also reduce the cost. Because from the US, you're not retrieving the S3 data from Ireland, but rather you're retrieving it in the same region. And as you know, AWS has significant costs when it comes to cross-region networking, and you're reducing that price. Today, there is also the option of doing same region replication, meaning there will be another bucket and you copy the data to a bucket in the same region. So if your main bucket is in Ireland, you can copy the data to a different bucket in the same Ireland region. This doesn't help you in terms of getting closer to your customers, but it does help you in terms of durability, reliability, and you can even use it as a backup. So whether it's keeping track of your data with versioning or automating your data with lifecycle policies or creating duplicates in different regions or in the same region, these advanced S3 features will add layers of enhancement to your experience whilst using S3. Join us in the next episode as we explore best practices, as we delve deeper into case studies, how to use S3, and also how S3 can integrate with other services. In the meantime, happy cloud computing. To stay connected and never miss a beat, be sure to follow our podcast channel for the latest episode. You can also follow us on Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, and LinkedIn to know more about all the updates in cloud and to know more about our upcoming webinars and events.